Now has the green light to improve traffic signal responses and crosswalk safety. KLTV7's Lauren Tier tells us how it could impact your drive and even your walk through the Rose City.
In an effort to improve the overall efficiency of traffic flow and safety of pedestrians, the Tyler City Council approved a resolution to start 2 projects in the coming months.
2 different projects, 2 different focuses. One focus is that vehicle detection that will really help with the signal timing.
Several intersections on the list, including the one at North Palace in South Glenwood, do not have any signal coordination. But with the proposed detection upgrades,
we can better monitor that traffic and have that progression that's not there today.
Tyler traffic engineer Cameron Williams also said some of the 11 intersections on the list see concentrated traffic from people taking alternate routes to avoid downtown.
And so we want to improve traffic flow on those alternate routes.
The Texas Department of Transportation Tyler District will also be involved in the projects.
Our vision is also about improving economic ability, enhancing the quality of life for Texans, and improving mobility. And so anything we do kind of goes along with our mission and vision, and we feel like these projects will help with those.
At these 5 intersections, pedestrian signal heads, accessible pedestrian push buttons, curb ramps, and conduits will be installed to enhance mobility and safety. While the carbon reduction program does usually require a 20% match in funding from the local government, these projects qualify for the Transportation Development Credits, meaning the city will not have to contribute to any funding. Lauren Tier, KLTV 7 News.
The city's traffic engineering department, TxDOT, and the Tyler Area Metropolitan Planning Organization will develop plans and open the bidding in August. Construction will not start until 2025.